Poles had to experiment a little bit with the so-called Ukrainian question. There were various views in Poland on what to do with this large Ukrainian minority. The arch rivals of this founder of modern Poland, Jozef Pilsudski, the so-called national democracy movement led by Roman Dmowski, they had an idea that the Ukrainian minority within Poland should be Polonized. There should be a certain amount of pressure exerted on them in order for them to adapt Polish culture, Polish language, to convert to Roman Catholicism. The other idea was naturally Piłsudski's of this multinational federation. And here Volhynia had a very interesting role in 10 years between 1928 and 1938. There was a man, one of the close really confidants of Jozef Pilsudski, who became the governor of the region, Henryk Józefski. He had the same kind of outlook on the view on this multinational federation as Pilsudski had. He was himself born in Kiev, so deep into what is Ukrainian territory and a part of Ukraine that didn't belong to interwar Poland. So he was brought up, born in 1892. He was brought up in this deep in the Russian Empire, and there was a Polish minority in the Kiev region, but it couldn't be compared to Galicia, where the Poles really formed a large percentage. In Kiev at the time, you had 2-3% of Poles. Nevertheless, being a large city, a large populated region, there was still enough Poles to create various Polish organizations, societies, and so on. So he joined, after the First World War broke out, he joined the Polish military organization, or POW, which was, you could say, the precursor of the Polish military intelligence that would be created after Poland re-emerged as a state. They were allied with Jozef Pilsudski, who had formed legions fighting on the side of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And naturally, as the Austro-Hungarians were allied with the Germans, and both of those states were in war with Russia, then naturally serving in the intelligence organization of the enemy was not something that the Russian Tsar looked upon with admiration, so to say. This led to a situation in which he became very well versed in various underground activities, in conspiracies, always operating in secret, having various networks of informers, also within the state administration, or even the military administration of the Russian Empire. So it was something that came to him very early on, and that stayed with him for the rest of his life. It could be worth mentioning that during the Second World War, when he was already a quite old man at the time, he joined the conspiracy against the Germans. And when the Polish Home Army was created, or the precursor organizations that later in 1942 became the Home Army, he looked down on them and considered them as novices in the field of conspiracy and underground activity. So even though he didn't have the high rank that many of them had, he always treated them with contempt, which was also partially explained by the fact that he was a very close cooperator with Jozef Pilsudski. And since the Pilsudski elite had been in power in Poland up until 1939, and then they were considered to have failed miserably to defend the country in 1939. The Polish government in exile, the Polish Home Army, was very much in control of the opposition to Pilsudski. So he himself was viewed as a little bit of an outcast. But
Adam, as usual, the clock in the corner of the room has defeated us. I'm going to have to ask you to pause there, but we will pick it up next time. I've had to ask Adam to pause, but fear not, if you join us next time on Poland Daily History, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story. Until then, thank you very much for watching.